this morning, and we're zooming in from Florida and from up in New Hampshire. And, we partner together through the Juice Plus company, which is all about inspiring healthy living around the world. And we like to help people take that one simple step, that one simple change that can jumpstart their lives to a healthier living. And that might be eating more whole foods, drinking more water, getting a little bit more sleep, managing stress and relaxation differently. And one of the things that I know Rebecca and I love to do is to inspire as many people as we can to live their best, healthiest lives. And we do that through our Farmers Market Faves. And we also have the privilege of doing that through our very intimate product line, which is whole food, plant-based, vegan capsules, chews, shakes, and bars. And we also have vertical aeroponic growing systems. Mine is Chloe. She's right behind me. And Stella is right behind Rebecca. And they're cool. They're simple. There are no weeds, no soil, no chemicals or anything like that. And you can grow what you want when you want. So that's something we can talk about later, but it's cool. That's all I can say. And so, like I said, we are stoked that you're with us this Saturday. We come together every Saturday at 10 o'clock Eastern time to share our Farmers Market Faves. And one of the things that Rebecca and I know we love about what we get to do is that we can come together from anywhere in the world to be with you. So Rebecca, you want to jump in and say something before we get started?
Sure. Thank you, Nancy. As Nancy said, I'm here in the frozen tundra of New Hampshire. And it is such a pleasure to be able to come here and talk about what's fresh at the farmers market and how we can continue to eat healthy, even if some of our farmers markets here are shut down for the season. How we can support local, how we can try new things that are fresh, healthy, and how we also combine that with the Juice Plus products. So yeah, back to you, Nancy.
Thank you, Rebecca. And I'm not in the frozen tundra. As you can see, I'm outside. It's beautiful. We do have a storm that's going to be passing through, so I kind of took the gamble to set up outside. But if you see me take off running and scurrying, it's because the rains have unlocked and I'm scrambling to get my technology out of the rain. Hey guys, this is our 28th episode of Farmers Market Faves, and we are so excited that you have been walking along us, that we have been walking alongside you, and that we are on this journey together to live healthier lives. And so here's what it's all about. We love fresh food, and we love sharing fresh food ideas, recipes, ways that you can get fresh food, ways that you can grow fresh food. But our most important thing that we want to share are the farmers market faves that we find each week and what their health benefits are and ways that you can include that in your diet. As you're aware by now, Rebecca always does an amazing fresh prep recipe live, which is so cool. And then afterwards, we share the video, we share our nutritional benefits of each food, and Rebecca shares her recipe. So tons of value add. And we know that's why you're with us. Plus, you think we're cool. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. And this is how we roll out. I'm going to share my 2 farmers market faves, and then Rebecca will share her 2, and then her fresh prep recipe. So my 2 farmers market faves this week are bean sprouts and then chervil. And I want to talk about the bean sprouts first. And did you know that they're in the legume family? I mean, even though it's called bean sprout, I didn't connect to them being in the legume family. So I find that.
I didn't either.
No. And the bean sprout, of all the types of sprouts, the bean sprout is the most common, and it's also the most accessible that we have over here. And people have been growing bean sprouts since the very, very early ancient times. They're actually native to India, and then people took them into China and Southeast Asia. And then they began to disperse as people's diets and cuisines changed all across the world. And so a sprout is simply a seed that has germinated. And I'm going to get one that actually, here we go. You can see on this one, that bottom part, that's the little seed. And then the white part that I'm holding is how it sprouts up. And all of these are seeds that have sprouted. They're very young baby plants, and they're extremely nutritious. I like the bean sprouts because they have a slight crunch. which I love texture in my food. And they're sweet. They're juicy. And I eat them cold right out of the fridge. I don't need to do much to my food. I love the raw flavor of all foods. The way you can use the bean sprouts is in salads and wraps and sandwiches. You can garnish them on salads, or they can be a large part of your salad. I put mine on potatoes. I put them in soups. You can also use them in stir fries. And really, for me, anything that has that Asian Thai fusion flair or not. But I typically put my bean sprouts in most anything. And so listen to what they can do to help our health. Bean sprouts actually decrease your A1C markers and may help people with type 2 diabetes control their blood sugar better. They have high amounts of insoluble fiber that can ease digestion and reduce the likelihood of constipation. They contain low levels of gluten and anti-nutrients, and that helps aid our digestive process. And sprouts help improve heart health by lowering your bad LDL, lowering your total cholesterol, and lowering your blood triglyceride levels. At the same time, they increase your good HDL cholesterol. So that's pretty cool. And something to be aware of, sprouts, like some of our other farmers market faves we've been talking about the last couple of weeks, just have a tish of a caution around them. Because sprouts are grown in a warm, humid environment, you want to be aware that you rinse them, that you clean them, but most importantly, that you pick good sprouts to begin with if they're not ones that you're growing yourself. And what can happen is that they can hold harmful bacteria like E. coli and Salmonella, which can cause some serious issues inside. So here are a couple of things to look at and to think about as you're buying bean sprouts. So really 5 things. Make sure you're buying them chilled and refrigerated. Check their appearance. You don't want them to look like they're a little slimy or like they're going limp. So you want your sprouts always to be able to be rigid and firm, like they could stand up on their own. Make sure you store them in the fridge once you get them home. Always wash your hands before and after handling them. And most important thing, likely, as soon as you get them home, rinse them, right? Take care of them and then put them in another container. And so another thing to think about, if you're pregnant, you're elderly, or you have a compromised immune system, you want to talk to your medical team before you add them to your diet and just get the thumbs up that they're okay for you to eat. All right. Now, my second fave this week is chervil. And so I brought my chervil out and I have it beside parsley, because a lot of times people think chervil is parsley, parsley is chervil, and it's not. Though they're cousins, they're very closely related. And chervil just has so many benefits, and it actually has such a cool history too. And a lot of people will call chervil French parsley. I'm looking up because the sky is getting dark, and I might take off running. And chervil is native to Europe. It's actually part of the carrot family. I did not know that. And its cousins are dill, parsley, and fennel. And chervil is believed to symbolize new life. And so because of this, it's traditionally served as chervil soup on Holy Thursday during the Easter celebration.
Ooh.
Yeah, it has such ancient tradition and heritage. And
I love the magical properties of it. That's cool.
Yeah, yes. And again, it looks like parsley. It depends on how it's cut, minced, or diced, whatever it is that's done. But when you hold the whole plant or the leaf side by side, the chervil leaves are smaller and they're lacier. They're also paler in color. It has a very similar aroma to tarragon, and it has a very, very sweet, pleasant aroma. And it's somewhere between anise and parsley. So it's kind of cool. And you can use chervil really for anything. And as I was looking it up, different sites and different resources would begin to list it all out. And then there would be like 30 ways you can use it. So I think it, like parsley or like others, is taste it, see what you think, and then use it however you want. But a lot of people using it to season poultry, seafood, veggie dishes, soups. They put it in sauces. What I like to do with mine is I don't tend to cook with a lot of seasonings. I always add mine on at the very last second or as I'm plating it. because if you have a warm dish and you put a dried spice like chervil or parsley on it, if you have dried parsley, it immediately begins to take on the heat. And as it's releasing, once you plate it, you get the best flavor and best aroma versus cooking it into something, at least my perspective. So there's a laundry list of what Chervil does. So I tried to select what I felt were, in today's society, some of the most important ones, but there were like 45 everywhere I looked, listed so many things. So check it out. It's a great source of bioflavonoids, which help us in the absorption of vitamin C. And we know we need vitamin C for healthy immune systems and to live healthy lives, cellular repair, and all kinds of stuff. It's also great for healthy digestion. And when you brew it as a tea, it can also be used, listen to this, as a soothing eye wash. Who would have, right? Who would have thought? It can be used as a tonic to help build the immune system. It has diuretic properties, which can help eliminate excessive fluids from the body. A lot of people will chew on the fresh chervil leaves, and that helps relieve hiccups. And it also helps as an expectorant that can help get rid of and relieve the strong effect of coughing. I'm going to list just a couple more. And then eating the chervil leaves can help improve function of digestive organs and our kidneys, which is becoming really important. It can also help with menstrual cramps, lower high levels of cholesterol, and it's full of really important minerals that help regulate blood pressure and maintain proper functioning of our heart and our blood vessels. And so if you're not totally convinced that chervil is something you probably want to go find and add into your diet, one of the things that I've also found out is that it helps maintain overall eye health, regardless of where we are in our lifespan. And so when I read things like that and I'm sitting here wearing trifocals and it's like, okay, right, I'm going to start sprinkling more of this into everything that I eat. So
Absolutely.
that's what I found this week, chervil and bean sprouts. What are you up to up there?
Okay, up here. And actually, I wish that I had some chervil here because I think it would go perfectly into the recipe that we're doing today. Because I am using some Thai sweet basil that I got from Stella over here. And so yeah, we're going to talk about basil. But before we do, I want to talk about coffee. I love coffee. I love it. It's part of my routine. So it is part of it is part of what I do for self-care to just relax, wake up. I personally love the taste of it. I'm kind of a coffee snob, I guess, because I don't just like any coffee. I like the artisan coffee. This one here I got from my friend who has family in Puerto Rico, where they have a coffee roaster down there. So this is straight from the roasting there. Our farmers markets have all kinds of like locally roasted coffee also. And so this particular coffee is a little bit dark, and it just smells so amazing. Ooh, I don't want to eat it. And so when you are choosing coffee, you want to make sure that you're not choosing something that's like really mass produced. And it's great to support local roasters, because the more small batch that you get, the more you are guaranteed that there aren't chemicals that are being put into it. So coffee gets a bad rap. And for years, it has been on the cancer producing, or the World Health Organization had it on the could cause cancer list. But they have taken it off. Back in 2016, they took it off that list, right? And not only did they take it off the list, they now are saying that it has health benefits. So now the World Health Organization is promoting coffee. And I'm not talking about have an IV of coffee. You know, I'm not talking about excessive use. I'm talking about 1-2 cups a day. I saw studies that said up to 8, but I think that that's a little crazy. I don't know how big their cups were though, so don't quote me on that. But coffee is pretty cool, and it helps you process glucose better. It can help your heart health, wards off heart failure, and it just increases general heart health. The caffeine in coffee specifically is linked to a lower chance of Parkinson's, and also helps ward off early stages of Alzheimer's. It has a protective effect on the liver. And the dark roast, like this, has been proven to decrease breakage in some DNA strands. Isn't that cool?
Huh.
Coffee, right? And coffee has been proven to have 26% less likely to develop colorectal cancer. So what they thought was a carcinogen is actually, in some cases, lessening the risk of cancer, which is pretty cool. It also is filled with polyphenols, which is an antioxidant, which is something that we are always highlighting as a good thing in our farmers market faves. So in moderation and not filled with lots of sugar and cream, we're talking black coffee here. Coffee can be a good thing for you. So in addition to actually drinking the coffee, you can use the grounds of coffee for an exfoliant, like a coffee scrub on your face, keep your skin nice and firm, and also just exfoliating any dead cells off of your skin. And then the garden. So we wouldn't use it here in our tower garden, but if you have a raised bed or you have a compost, you can add it to compost, and it's considered to be the green matter. So you would have to balance it with the brown matter. It acts as a fertilizer. So in addition to composting, you can just add it to your soil and kind of amend the soil to mix some in there. And it adds some nitrogen to the soil. It fertilizes, it helps with drainage, aeration, it attracts earthworms. It does lower the pH of the soil. So it's great for acid loving plants. So if you plant some around your hydrangeas or rhododendrons or azaleas, they're going to be, the colors will be more brilliant. It keeps away slugs and snails from your plants. You can even use it as a mulch. And the only thing that I will caution you is that if you have a dog or a cat that is really, really interested and needs to inspect everything, you might not want to use it as a mulch, just because too much coffee for a dog could have bad effects. But in general, you could still use it to amend the soil and add all kinds of nutrients in there. Also, as a side note, tomatoes do not like to have coffee in their soil. So if you're amending the soil, make sure that you leave a space that you don't have the coffee grounds in it for your tomato plants. So just kind of a little tidbit of information. And if you are not a coffee drinker, you may have noticed that recently coffee shops have been putting out coffee grounds for your garden. So, and they're free usually. I know Starbucks, a bunch of offices and just little coffee shops will have coffee grounds for your garden out there. So even if you're not producing your own, you can easily, freely grab it to amend your soil and add it to your garden, which is pretty cool. The other thing that I wanted to highlight is Thai sweet basil. Let me just pick another leaf off of here. Now, Thai sweet basil, I am growing in my tower garden, and it is really cute. And the leaf looks a little bit different than the typical basil that we would see like at the grocery store. It is a little pointier, and the flavor of of anise in it is a little bit higher, which is pretty cool. The neato thing about Thai sweet basil is that it can reduce memory loss, especially the kind that's associated with aging and chronic stress. And it also can help reduce depression that is caused from chronic stress. And those are things that, like, I mean, a lot of people have, especially this year, right? There's a lot of stress on everybody. Thai sweet basil can support stroke recovery, which is huge for me as a stroke survivor. It helps thin your blood, similar to aspirin. And it is an alternative to antibiotics. And I'm going to just kind of throw out a disclaimer there. I'm not saying don't use antibiotics that your doctor is prescribing to you and start eating copious amounts of basil. But if you have an infection that hasn't gotten to that point yet, it is going to naturally help you with clearing out infection. It also decreases dental decay, and it helps repel mosquitoes and ticks. So if you are planting, and I know we have a huge issue with both mosquitoes and ticks in New Hampshire. So if you're planting a garden, or if you're planning out where you want to plant things, having a couple of Thai sweet basil or regular basil plants, maybe around your deck, would be great for that, or around the edges of your property, just for the mosquito repellent properties. So I am absolutely in love. You know, my daughter, it's funny, she will sit down with a bowl of bean sprouts, and she uses the basil as some lettuce. She'll use basil and some baby spinach as her lettuce in her salads. It's so funny. So what I'm going to make today is a beet dip that we talked about last week. And this is in honor of the Super Bowl tomorrow, right? Yes. So I wanted to just, again, we had the carrot cake dip last week, and which was absolutely amazing. My entire family just loved it. Oh my goodness, it was so good. So I wanted to provide a couple of ways that you could have some healthy, fun food for Super Bowl Sunday. So what I did here is I took these are beets. These are some golden beets. I re-got some golden beets. And while I was making dinner, I also cut up into little pieces the beets and some garlic cloves. And I just stuck them in a foil packet in with all the other stuff I was cooking in my oven at 400 degrees. And while I was cooking, just let them cook down. I want to say it took about maybe 25 minutes. And that's only because it would have taken longer if it was in larger pieces, but I cut them really small because I wanted them to cook faster. So in here is about 3 very small golden beets and 4 cloves of garlic. So I roasted all of that together. Oh my God, my kitchen smelled so good. And I am adding that, and I would put this into a food processor, but just for where I am and the noise of it, I'm going to use my immersion blender. So I'm pouring this into my container for my immersion blender. I forgot my spatula, so I'm using a knife. And to this, I am adding some Thai sweet basil that I cut up, and I'm adding some chopped pecans. This sounds so weird, I know, but it's going to be awesome.
It sounds delicious.
Right? And to that, I just, as Nancy was talking, I juiced half of a lemon. So I'm going to pour that juice in here. And I am going to also, oh, I got nuts everywhere. I'm going to pour a little bit, probably about a tablespoon of agave nectar. And you could use maple syrup. You could use honey in this also. And let's see, if I had some Chervil, how did you say it? Chervil?
Chervil.
Chervil. If I had some of that, I would put that in here. And if I had some fresh parsley in the house, which I didn't have, I would also put some in here. Oh, and I want to put a little bit of salt in here too. And I'm not a big pepper person. Otherwise, I would put pepper in. But you know what? I am going to, just because I like to live on the edge, right? I'm going to throw a little camp mix in here. And camp mix is essentially salt, pepper, celery salt, onion, garlic. So there's a little black pepper, white pepper. So I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit in there just for fun. And then I'm going to blend this up. And as I'm blending it up, I am going to add a little drizzle of my garlic olive oil in here, just to get everything emulsified and nice and soft and smooth. So
That's a pretty color.
right? So it's not crazy pretty right now, but I will plate it up and show everybody in the recipe. But this is an absolutely amazing, really, really healthy. Ooh, so good. Nice and garlicky and smooth dip that you can use with maybe some gluten-free crackers or carrot sticks, celery sticks, any kind of vegetable that you might be snacking on. And the flavor punch in this is absolutely amazing. So a nice little treat for Super Bowl Sunday, when you want to be snacking while you're watching the game, but you don't want to add all kinds of bad things to your diet. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I hope that you will try this. And as you remember from last week, the golden beets have a little less sweet than the red beets, but they also have less earthy taste than the red beets. So if that is an issue, I know that I love both beets. Folks in my house will eat the yellow ones, but they're not crazy about the reds. So I tend to cook with these when I'm feeding the whole family. When it's up to me, I'll go for the reds. So again, thank you for watching. And just to kind of circle back, this all came about because of Nancy and my connection with the Juice Plus company and our love for spreading healthy living around the world. And we are so honored to be able to have met through the community, the rich community that the Juice Plus company promotes, and the simplicity of having such an intimate product line, have it be so pure and so healthy that it has inspired us to share our love of fresh cooking and fresh produce and foods with everybody. So we are so thankful for that bringing us together. And we would love to include you in that too. So if you'd like to continue the conversation, please join us on our Facebook group, on our Facebook page, our Instagram, our YouTube, and we would be happy to invite you to our One Simple Change page, where we're all about just, that one simple change that is putting you that much further towards healthy living. So back to you, Nancy.
Rebecca, thank you so much. One of the many things I love about all the recipes that you make is how simple, how quick we can pull together some amazing, very healthy flavors and not just think we have to chew on carrot sticks and celery all day long. That, you know, great flavors can come together so simple. And I love all the things that you share. Beets have not been on my radar. However, this has made me very curious. So when I'm out and about next, or when I order some food, I think I might be putting that on my list. So thank you for sharing that and opening my eyes to that opportunity as well. And like Rebecca said, we come together every Saturday morning at 10 o'clock Eastern time. We will be moving to a live format next week. And what we love to do is share our farmers market faves, the benefits and some of the challenges that these foods nutritionally can help you overcome. And we also like to have fun. And in that fun, we share Rebecca's recipes, and we also engage. We think, you know, we're engaging on our Facebook page. We're getting better, right? And so what we want to do is just invite you to join us. Join us on our page, join us in conversations, join us on Instagram, and join our YouTube channel. And what we want to do is know that you'll be with us next week, and we will look forward to sharing 2 farmers market faves from down in Florida, 2 farmers market faves from up in New Hampshire, and whatever amazing recipe Rebecca shares with us next. So thank you all for being here and joining us, and we look forward to hearing what the one simple change is that you make this coming week. Bye-bye, y'all.